I'm golden.
You're cold?
I'm golden.
Oh, golden. 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 We were talking. We're driving in today, and Brian, it's like a 1-year anniversary of Quidditch because it was like a year ago that we went in the parade. It's like it's only been a year. I'm like I know. And then we came in here, and we were talking with Lauren, and she's like, it's been 1 year. And I'm like I know. It's crazy. It feels like so much longer. It's so much shorter. Yeah.
It's a good combo. It's weird. It's like we want to say like we've been going for 2 years because we've got like 2 full school years.
No, you have. Sure. You have been, but like 1 year since we met.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like us Quidditch, not you Quidditch.
1 year since Alberta Quidditch.
Or just like us, like my Quidditch is less than a year right now, so that's okay. Yeah. But us Quidditch, I just like.
What's the first year anniversary? Paper? Like what's like the traditional anniversary gift in the first year?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Like traditional gifts.
Yeah. Like diamonds
like,
at
you're
50th and stuff, and wood
like
at
Diamond Jubilee
4th or something. Yeah.
It's like there are like themes for like what kind of gift you're supposed to get your like significant other like certain anniversaries.
Oh yeah. Add that to the list of reasons why I'm bad at relationships.
Nobody ever does it in relationships anyway. I love that kid with the giant hobbit feet.
I know, he just looks so smart.
Like, everyone needs to see my feet. And they're short. They're good feet. 11:14 in 52 seconds.
Okay.
I don't know how on time we need to be.
We just won't start early.
Yeah.
Good, we won't start early.
But now we're good. Now we're not early.
She said she would close the door when it was.
Oh, okay, cool. Yay! Oh, that means I need to grab a microphone. Make sure that they're good to go too. We good? Yay! Thumbs up. Thumbs up is awesome.
Everybody.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
Yay! I like it when they wave back. My name's Jillian Stanek, and I'm a conventions manager with the International Quidditch Association, and I'm also a founder of Central Alberta Quidditch, based out of Red Deer.
I'm Carissa. I'm one of the coaches of the University of Calgary team.
I'm Rachel. I'm also one of the coaches of the University of Calgary team.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Oh, sorry. And we're here to talk to you about Quidditch. So I'm going to talk a lot about the international organization and the high-level stuff there. And then Rachel's going to talk a bit more local and the local history. And then Chris is going to go, and then we'll come back to me. So it'll be a lot of people talking in general. But if you have questions, we love questions. So put up your hands and try and get our attention, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. So, getting started. This, of course, is Quidditch in the 21st century. So, not through all the ages, but recently. Quidditch itself was invented at Middlebury College in the United States. Some friends would get together and they'd play bocce, and they wanted something that was a little bit more fun, so they invented Quidditch. It spread throughout the college system in Canada and the US, and as you can see there, it was initially really tied to the Harry Potter fandom. They did build the sport on 3 pillars: competition, community, and creativity. So it includes things like literacy drives, Title 9 3/4, which is our 2 minimum rule, where you need to have 2 people of another gender playing on the field at all times, minimum. And that other gender can be male, female, agendered, all those sorts of things. You get to play as the group that you identify as, which is pretty unique for sports. So that's how it started, capes and everything. And where we've gone to is a little different than that. The IQA was formed in 2010, the International Quidditch Association, as a nonprofit in the States. We just completed the 7th World Cup, and this is actually a picture from that. Texas won the World Cup again this year. It's now a very competitive sport. It's still co-ed, but it's increasingly about training, harder hitting contact. It is a full contact sport, and people are starting to really take it seriously that way. I see some people in the audience who are very excited about this. It does attract that type of people too. That's okay. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the game, how you play. So you have 3 chasers on your team, and they wear white headbands, and they pass the quaffle and shoot and score. You get 10 points per goal through the hoops. You've got 2 beaters who are trying to interfere with that, of course. They've got the black headbands on. You've got 1 keeper who's also trying to defend the hoops, and they can shoot and score, and a seeker who's wearing the yellow headband, and they're trying to catch the golden snitch. The number 1 question that we get, and you might have noticed it already in these pictures, is how do you fly? I dare you to prove that we don't fly. It's a really physical sport, like I said before. You can fly as good as your quads can take you. So you do have a broom between your legs at all times. That is mandatory equipment. And between your legs can be pretty broad interpretations up there. The other thing that you need in order to play is your 5 balls. You've got your 3 bludgers, a quaffle, and a snitch. They all start in the middle of the field at the start. You also have up to 3 referees, so a head referee and 2 assistants, plus goal judges. The more referees you can get, the better off you're going to be as far as your game's going to go. So to start a game, every game starts with heads down, brooms up. So everyone starts with their heads down, eyes closed, including all the players on the side. And that allows the snitch to be released. They can run and hide. Nobody gets to see where they go, basically. On brooms up, every team runs to the middle, with your brooms between your legs, and you try and get your quaffles and your bludgers. You get as many of these balls as you can manage, and you usually won't get, well, you can never get them all. Then the game keeps going. Of course, your chasers, again, like I said before, are trying to pass, shoot, and score. They get 10 points every time it goes through the hoop. But it's not as easy as all that, because the chasers and keepers can tackle each other. They can do that to get the ball, to get you off your broom. Either way, you get sent back to hoops. The other group that, of course, is getting very involved in this is your beaters. And you can see at the top corner of this one, the beaters there with, actually the bottom 2 there, they knock you down with their dodgeballs. They don't have to hit you down, they just have to hit you. You have to drop your ball, take your broom from between your legs, run back to your hoops, and then you're back in the game. So there's a whole lot of back and forth. You're going to get a really good workout when you play Quidditch. It's pretty much impossible not to. And it keeps going. The beaters can also beat each other, and they can tackle each other for their balls too. There's 3 balls, so one team always has bludger superiority over the other one. The other game that, of course, is going on at the same time is the seekers who are trying to capture the snitch. So the snitch isn't the person, it's actually just the ball in the back of the shorts there. And if the seekers get beat by a bludger, then they have to run back to their hoops. Or if they fall off their broom, they have to run back to their hoops. So what used to happen was that snitches were usually cross-country runners. And they'd run really far and they'd hide really well. And that's basically what they did, is they just ran really fast. Nowadays, snitches tend to be a lot more physical. So instead of just running away from seekers, they'll also stop and throw seekers off their brooms. They'll pull brooms from between their legs. They'll push them over. They can do pretty much anything they want. As you can see from her lovely shirt here, snitches be crazy. And they really are. If eventually a snitch will get caught, that's the only way to end the game. It's worth 30 points instead of 150. If there's a tie at that point, then it goes into overtime for 5 minutes. If there's a tie at that point, then it goes into sudden death overtime. So a snitch can essentially win a game by surviving 2 overtimes, but they will have gotten caught once first. Overall, it's a really fun sport. It's really intense. It can get really fast. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game when you're watching and when you're playing. But those are the basic rules. So now that you have the basics, we're going to get Rachel to tell you some of Calgary's story and where they came from.
Okay. So our team sort of started off 2 years ago. So I'm in my 3rd year of university right now, and so our first exec team sort of refounded the club from what it originally was. There was a Quidditch club at Calgary a few years ago, but it kind of died off, and then it was resurrected again. So when we started, it was essentially a group of us meeting in a library workroom, watching a Harry Potter musical, and just sort of being like really nerdy. And it was a lot of fun. Then fast forward to the next year when I was in my second year, I joined the exec team, and with some of the previous execs, we decided, you know what, we really want to start playing Quidditch. So we didn't really have all the equipment at the time. As you can see in this picture, our first set of hoops were hula hoops that we taped to the back of chairs. We did have broomsticks, and we did have all the necessary balls to play with. And so this was at one of our first Monday meetings. So this was before we had actually started regular practices. It quickly became evident that we needed to set up a regular practice time outside of our Monday evening meetings because it would get dark and we had no lights, and it's hard to play Quidditch in the dark. So from there, I talked with one of the other execs and was like, okay, let's start having practices. Like, we're both free Sunday afternoons, so let's say every Sunday at 2:30, we're gonna go and play Quidditch. So that's probably one of like the biggest pieces of advice I can give people, like if you wanna start playing Quidditch, is pick a time and make it regular. Because if you make it regular, then the people who really wanna come out will be able to work their schedules around it, and they'll be able to start coming out. So ours was Sunday afternoons. We've been practicing every Sunday pretty much for like a year and a half nonstop. We're going on about 2 years now. We've never technically canceled for weather. Technically. Practically, we kind of have. We went and watched movies instead of playing Quidditch because no one showed up when it was minus 30 in February this year, but otherwise we've always played, so that was really fun. So from starting regular practices, we tried to gain more legitimacy as a club. And so that came when we reached out to the active living group at the University of Calgary. So I went and started talking to them and was like, hey, we want to become an active living club because we wanted to try and reach more students. And so they were really helpful. They let us set up Wednesday night intramurals. So this was sort of just like drop-in Quidditch. Anyone could sort of come and play. We kind of took over them and just made them more of a practice, but it was a lot of fun. We got media coverage. CBC actually came out and did a story on us, which was really cool. The university's local station also did as well. And so again, here, by this point we had sort of evolved from taping our hoops to the back of chairs to taping them to the back of soccer goals. Not that much better, but it got them a bit higher up in the air. So this was a lot of fun. We kept gaining ground. Last year, Jill reached out to us and we came to Expo, and that was a lot of fun. That definitely helped us. It pushed us to sort of upgrade our equipment and that sort of stuff too. That being said, I'll talk a bit about like just sort of what you need for equipment. For the most part, it's kind of, we've told our players sort of bring your own broom, BYOB. That being said, we've had a number of broken broomsticks over the past couple of years. I don't even know how many wooden ones we've broken. I think 8 or 9 at this point. These are all broomsticks that we got from a movie theater that they were done with them, so we kindly took them and used them. One of the things you have to be aware of is know how your broom is going to break. Our wooden broomsticks kind of break a bit dangerously. They kind of become a bit pointy when they break. Metal brooms are a bit better. They bend typically before they break, so you kind of have a bit of a warning before they fail. Chris has broken 2 of her metal brooms.
In the past year.
So it is something where it's like you need to be aware of like what you're using and how it's going to break. If you've seen sort of our nicer brooms that we have at the table, those typically don't break. They're nice. They're a lot thicker and they're made of a much harder wood, which is good. Recently too, we've worked with Active Living, and they gave us some old broom ball sticks. So they don't really look anything like brooms. They're thick wooden things with like weird red paddles at the end. But they're really great because they're nice and hefty and they like won't break for the most part. They're nice and sturdy. Last year we also sort of made a push to get real hoops. So as you can see, these are our PVC hoops that some of our members made for us. It was a lot of fun. We continued practicing over the summer. This was a summer practice, obviously, because it was hot and clothes were optional. Pants are mandatory. That's a rule.
There actually is a rule in the rule book.
In the rule book, pants are mandatory.
You must wear a bottom of some sort.
Yeah, tops are optional. But yeah, and so from that, we've continued to like gain ground as a club. Last November, we hosted the first Quidditch tournament in Alberta. It was a lot of fun. It was our team, and then people from Central Alberta and Edmonton came down and played us. We won, which was exciting. We also went to Red Deer in March and played again. And again, we won because we probably have the most regular practices, so that was a lot of fun. And we've also, again, came back to Comic Expo, which was a really good time. We're still gaining ground with Active Living. We're like, as an Active Living club, we accept everyone, like anyone from the community can sign up. There is a fee to sign up, but we are one of the cheapest clubs on campus, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, and so now I'm going to toss it over to Carissa, who's going to talk about where our team is going.
Okay, so for me, getting involved in Quidditch. Oh, there we go. When I was back in high school and that, I was always like nerdy, but also played sports, which is a really small niche. And then I watched a Quidditch documentary and realized that there were a whole bunch of other people who did the same thing. So that was really exciting. And then in my second year was when the Quidditch team at University of Calgary actually started practicing regularly. So that is when I started playing. And then this past year, I've started coaching as well. So my athletic background is basketball and rugby. So what I've done is try to adapt as much of that to Quidditch as I can, because there isn't a vast pool of previous Quidditch experience. So it's a lot of inventing drills and trying things and having no idea if they're going to work or not, which is fun. And we've actually been working a lot towards becoming more physical, because Quidditch is really unique in that you get a lot of people who have never played a team sport before or never played a contact sport. So teaching people how to get into that and get more fit and get physical has been one of my favorite things about the sport. It's actually a really empowering thing to watch when you have people who have never really been athletic suddenly really get into something. Quidditch has broken down a huge boundary for a lot of people for getting involved in sports, and that's been really cool to watch. People over the last 2 years really get more comfortable with their bodies, get a lot more athletic even outside of Quidditch. That's one of my favorite things about coaching, for sure. I've also started trying to get our team to have strategies like other sports, so things like set zone defenses and actual offensive plays, getting more structured that way to gain a little more legitimacy and put us on closer to the same playing field as the international level teams. So our team now, this year we kept practicing every Sunday. We've also added fitness sessions to our schedule. Our practices, we do focus a bit still on basic skills, because you are getting a lot of people at tons of different levels of athletic background. So getting basic skills in, but still practicing at a level high enough to challenge people who are athletic has been really interesting. Getting people to play contact. I love people who are really aggressive. So everyone who keeps smiling when we talk about that are my favorite people, because that's me. But the biggest thing is safe contact, especially for people who have never played before. Making sure you can give a hit and take a hit and not get hurt. Proud moment as a coach is we haven't had any serious injuries, which is amazing. Yeah. So that's been really good. That's one of our focuses, is getting to that level where not only are we comfortable with contact, but it's safe for people. Okay, so where we're going now, I'm going to continue coaching for the next year. So our big priority is getting other teams to play. So we play Central Alberta. We love them. We're working on getting Edmonton people to have more regular practices, so we would have them. We would love to get a community team in Calgary, or teams at the other post-secondaries. So if Mount Royal or SAIT would jump on that, that would be nice, just getting people to play more regularly. And then hopefully, now that we're getting more money through merch and stuff, getting money to travel and play, because there are teams in BC. Simon Fraser has a team, UVic and UBC. So we'd really like to play them, because otherwise a lot of the Canadian teams are all way out east. So that is one of the problems of being a Western Quidditch team, is finding people close to us. So that's our big priority for this year, is getting that. We'll be continuing the same tournaments that we had this year, so we'll be hosting one in the fall. So you guys should definitely find us on Facebook and keep an eye out so you can come watch. That'll be really exciting. And I'm going to pass this back to Jill to talk about international things.
Yes, so aside from Canada Quidditch, there's also Quidditch all over the place. I'm going to see if I can actually make this play without it. Oh yeah, good. Cool, you don't need the sound. This is Quidditch being played in Uganda. I can't remember where in Uganda, but it's literally on every continent except Antarctica so far. and it's really growing. And I mean, they play contact, so, and co-ed, which is pretty cool. So right now there's a lot of levels, lots of options for different people. There's Kidditch for kids, there's Quidditch for adults. You've got community options, you've got university options, and that's really what we're trying to do, is just spread the word that you can play Quidditch and that it's really fun. It's worth playing, basically. But you don't have to just play. You can also get involved other ways. You can be a player, of course. We also always need referees, volunteers to help run programs. Photography and videography is getting really big in Quidditch right now. There's a lot of, it's quite challenging to do good photography and good videography for sports groups. So if you want to build up a new skill set, that's a really good way to go. We also always need more snitches, more audience members, watch for Indiegogo and Teespring campaigns, that sort of thing, if you want to give financial support or buy some cool swag, because we have swag.
We have a booth. Shameless plug. Come to our booth. We have T-shirts and posters and buttons.
And buttons. And patches. Did you say patches? I don't think you said patches. Patches. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways to be involved. If you're sitting here thinking like, I don't know about sports, you don't have to just be here for the sports. You can be here for all sorts of other things as well. They often have entertainment. Commentators are the best part of Quidditch in a lot of ways. Yeah.
We recruit improv comedians, and it's just the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It was priceless.
Yeah, really, really good. If you watch any of the live stream stuff, which is on the internet now on the IQA's YouTube channel, I believe, you can see some of the stuff from the World Cup, the latest World Cup, and there's some really priceless commentary about going on with, half shirt and all that. So yeah, it's if you like that side of things, there's a lot of different ways to be involved, so you don't have to play if you're not comfortable that way. But if you are, we do have demonstration matches. This is from our thing last year. This year's pictures might not be quite so bright and sunny, but
we're still doing them.
We are still doing them, yes.
Grab a Comic Expo poncho and come and play Quidditch with us at 1.
Yeah, we've got them outside. They're between the BMO building here and the Big 4 building. We're going to be doing demonstrations and try-it-out matches, and they're open to all ages. So kids, adults, everyone in between, come on out at 1 o'clock. We also have our booths, so you can come and learn more, watch some more videos, ask us questions, get more information. If you're in Lethbridge or Medicine Hat and you're thinking about starting a team, we'd love to talk to you, because we have been talking to a lot of those people, and we'd love to get some stuff started. Or SATE, like you said before, Nate, any of those things.
We'll help you.
So that's most of our presentation here. Our questions now are like big ones here. Have you been chasing your dream? What do you seek in a sport? What's keeping you out of the game? And really, you just can't beat this sport. See, I got them all in there.
All the puns.
Yes, all the puns, but none of the innuendo. We're doing well.
That's
We're doing well.
You talked about rooms for a long time.
Oh no. We've got a scorekeeper on our innuendo. That's no good. No good at all.
Oh dear.
Sorry, and then I leaned on the thing, and I broke it.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're gonna make it happen again. Come back. Okay.
There we go. We're good.
But that was us talking at you, and we would love to have questions from you guys about the sport, about anything. Got a question there.
What positions do you play?
What positions do we play? So I play beater. I like to play beater because I like hitting people with dodgeballs, I think. And I don't know how to tackle very well yet, so there's less tackling in that position, so it's a good place for me to start. As I build up my skills, I think I'm going to try my hand at chaser a little bit. I also enjoy seeker, but I don't think I'm fast enough for it as a rule. I'm more of a physical seeker, and there's not a lot that a seeker can do to a snitch to defend themselves even. So you basically just get beat up a lot and reach and hope.
I play chaser because I like hitting people not with dodgeballs, mainly. Also because of the other sports I've played, they translate really well in terms of
and
strategy.
She's fast. It helps.
So I really like that part of the game, just the whole scoring, that it's the normal kind of goal-oriented athleticism.
I've literally played every position on the field. I started as a beater, and then I went and started chasing, and then I've also keeped. I don't play seeker very often just because, again, I'm not fast and I don't like running. My sporting background is I swam competitively for like 9 years, and then I played like a little bit of soccer, so that's mostly where I came from. And so I primarily play chaser, recently like a white headband, that's mostly what I do, but I've also seeked, and I also beat, so I kind of dabble in a bit of everything. But yeah, depends on my mood.
I guess that's the other thing I should say about beater. The other reason I like beater is because I play water polo and the balls are about the same size, so it works out really well with one-handed skills.
Yeah.
How would you recommend starting a Quidditch team in an area that has no Quidditch team at all?
It depends on if you want to do a community team or a university team. University teams are good because you have a set
Group of people.
community already that's there. They're looking for things to do and they're looking for ways to meet people. The disadvantage being that you only have so many people that you can invite as a rule. Although if you can be an open team like Calgary is, which is fantastic, then you've got more options. When I started my Quidditch team in Red Deer, we moved to Red Deer, so I didn't know a lot of people. So I just said, yeah, we have a team. We have a team, we're practicing. It was the royal we. All the time. Yeah. We're great. Yeah, no, we're practicing on Monday. It was all me. I just I bought equipment and I figured, Field of Dreams style, if you build it, they will come. And they did. So it's fantastic. So you've got a couple of options that way. You can get your friends together and just start doing a thing like Rachel had said.
Yeah,
Pick a day and time.
Picking a public place to practice is also a really good idea. Like we when we started, we just sort of borrowed one of the intramural fields because it was winter, so no one was using them. They were technically closed, but that didn't really matter. But so we started with that, and then when we became an active living club, and like in the summer, like the fields were like actually closed, so we're like, okay, we'll go and find somewhere else to practice. So we started practicing at parks. That was always really fun because we always got like the people like trying to like covertly take pictures of us,
Or not covertly.
or not covertly, but just like from a distance.
Blatantly walk up and start filming us.
Yeah, so it was always fun, and people would always be like, are you guys playing Quidditch? And we're like, yes, we are, you want to come play? And they're like, they just kept walking, but it did sort of do a good job of like getting the word out. I know there are some like online groups that are kind of like common interest things where you can like post like, hey, I'm in this area and I want to start a Quidditch team.
Yeah, like meetup.com and stuff.
Yeah.
We've had some success with that. I'm not entirely convinced it's worth the money for us because it's not that popular in Alberta, but you can find people there. Kijiji has free ads, and we got pretty good response from that. Just putting up an ad there and get some pictures and go. But really, your equipment will draw a lot of people in. So pick a
it's very
public spot,
distinctive.
even if it's not the best like practice spot because it's not a fancy field. We practice sometimes in King Canyon in Red Deer, which is essentially the intersection of 5 or 6 different paths. So there's walking trails and biking trails all throughout that area, and people just come by and they'll see the hoops and so they'll stop just for that. So
Yeah, that is the
that's
plus of Quidditch, is it's a very visually distinctive sport.
yeah.
And you don't need like an actual athletic field to play on because you bring the hoops with you, so you can set up on like any patch of grass anywhere,
Yeah,
which is sweet.
yeah, lots of options.
What are some of the challenges or surprises to being a Quidditch coach?
I'll talk a bit about mine. I started very sort of informally. It was literally like, I want to run practices, and I guess I can take the position of coach. So that's sort of how I started, and probably the hardest thing is coming up with drills, especially like if you've never done Quidditch before, you have no idea what kind of strategy is going to work. So one of the big things that sort of helped us is right when we were starting, actually, one of the players from University of Ottawa's team was in Calgary just like for a random conference, and she was like, oh, hey, can I come play Quidditch with you guys? And I was like, yes. And so we were able to sort of pick her mind and get a few different drills, so that was really helpful. I just adapted a lot of sort of my like soccer drills, so we did like keep away and stuff like that, and we did like half-court scrimmage, so we were kind of playing like half-court basketball, but just with Quidditch. So that's probably one of like the hardest things that like I've had, and then you can.
Currently, because now that we've been running for a while, there is a bit of a split in the kinds of people we get, because it's such a diverse group. We're getting people who've been playing sports all their life, and then we're getting people who have never played a sport ever. And in addition to diverse backgrounds, we also have people who want to play really competitively and want to play really physically, and we have people who don't. So ideally, we would have enough numbers, and I'd love to be able to kind of split our team into a competitive side and a non-competitive, non-contact side, just so we could kind of cater to everyone. But for me, thinking up drills and running practices for that diverse of backgrounds is hard, because we still really want to challenge people who are really athletic, but yeah. And as I said before, that's also been one of the best things that I liked about coaching that I didn't expect to get so excited about, is seeing people who started out as like not an athletic person at all, and now that's something they identify with. It's something that's extended into the rest of their lives. The gender dynamics of Quidditch are really cool, like Jill mentioned, Title 9 3/4. It's really neat to be teaching people how to be physical, especially with women, regardless of the gender of who you're with. It's super equal. People go at it all the time, and it's just a really fun thing, and I find it's really empowering for people. So that's been my happy surprise.
Yeah, like one of the, like sort of going on that, one of the really cool things we saw last summer is like when we started playing in the summer, we were all just like dying of the heat because we've been playing in the snow for so long. And so it was really hot. And so like a few of us were like comfortable enough to like, we would take off our shirts when we were practicing, but a lot of people at the beginning of the summer weren't. By the end of the summer, everyone was comfortable enough with their bodies to like volunteer to go on the shirtless team because they were so hot. So that was kind of like probably one of like the coolest like visual things that we saw, was like people at the beginning of the summer who were just like, oh no, I'll be on shirts, this is fine, no worries. We're totally at the end of the summer like, I want to be on skins. And so that was really cool.
Basically, we're getting jacked. It's awesome.
Well, and even if you're not, it's
Yeah.
still...
Yeah, like we respect
There's
like,
all
everyone.
levels. It's
Yeah.
okay. Some
Yeah.
of us are not so young and going to be doing that sort of thing as others. But it's really nice that way, because it can be open. I think for myself, as when I'm coaching, our biggest challenge is actually finding a good space to work in, and then coming up with drills that will work with whatever number you get that day. So one day it's like 2 people, the next day it's 25, and you can't always predict that. So that's been my biggest challenge, is finding, basically always making it work. But yeah, it's good. There was another question I saw. Did you have one? Okay.
I think the guy in the white had his hand up earlier.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
So I asked this question in the interest of men.
Yeah.
How does one protect the brook?
You have options.
We've only had a few really
Yeah,
bad incidences.
I think we've only had like, surprisingly few number
Yeah.
of like the can shots. Surprisingly few. Like I haven't heard that many guys complain. Like, Hassan, do you want to comment
Male
briefly?
coordinator.
He's one of our.
Represent.
Concrete, but people believe you're not like straight up sitting on it.
Yeah.
I'm holding it like here, so it's kind of like around here. There's like good amount of space.
For the most part.
You fall, like, the thing that you're most scared of is like you end up like attacking yourself. Yeah. But like, it's not like that. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I think you can always go with traditional means of protection.
Yeah, some people do use like the protective cups and all that. I've heard plus and minus things on this on the internet. I obviously don't know myself, but so there are options basically, and it's kind of like that with other equipment too. There are gloves that you can use for if you're a beater or chaser or whatever, and there are pluses and minuses to all the different stuff that's out there. So a lot of it is experimental, try it out. I don't think you probably need to dress as a full stormtrooper to get on by, although I do
want
see
to,
that
you
you have the
can.
outfit, so you could. Yeah, it'd probably be a lot of equipment and pretty good protection.
Yeah.
There were some other ones.
What's the general size field that you guys normally go with?
Oh.
There are a lot of different options. A full field is 60 yards by 48 yards for the hard boundary. And then inside that, it's kind of like a hockey rink shape, so pill shape there. The hard boundary is a new thing this year. In the past, there was basically no boundary. Kind of was, but there wasn't. They've added it to protect spectators, so you now have a safe place to sit, which is a good idea. But so that's like the full size is basically like a soccer pitch, and then it can go down to half size, and you can still play pretty much full Quidditch.
Yeah.
What we'll be playing in today is tiny,
Very tiny,
like
half
less than a
court.
quarter size. So we'll be
Yeah.
playing half court. So you've got lots of options, but a full size is 60 yards by 48 yards.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is
Yeah, we've done that a lot. It sort of just depends on like the numbers that you have. So if you have an odd number, you can like if you have like 7, you can do half court. You have 1 full-time keeper who just sort of like guards the hoops at all times, and then you'd have 3-on-3. So you would do 2 chasers and 1 beater. You can also do things called cheaters, who are both chasers and beaters, so they're able to use both the quaffle and the bludger. So that's kind of fun. You can do that. But yeah, typically you can just sort of cut down the number of people. If like you always want to have like 1 beater, you can play full chasers. Like we've played games where we're just playing with chasers. But if you play with beaters, then you
they like to run. They're crazy.
But yeah, so it's like with beaters, like if you drop down to like 1 beater per team, then you would just use 2 bludgers instead of 3 because no one's going to be using the 3rd bludger.
Yeah. We did spend a lot of time with like around like 7 people at summer practices last
Yeah.
year. So usually we would do the half court with the 1 keeper and the 3-on-3.
Yeah.
So with a maximum of 3 people, what would you suggest?
I'd recommend that you do my favorite drill, because I'm a beater again. So my favorite drill is you have beaters, 3 beaters set up in a triangle. I guess I could show you like this instead of like that. And everyone starts with their broom down and a bludger beside them. You're actually on brooms up, you're facing the other people, so you're like this. And on brooms up, this beater goes up to that bludger, this one goes to that one goes to that one. And you have to pick up a bludger and beat the other 2 beaters before they beat you. If you get beat, you have to run back, touch your hoops, and then you're back in the game. So if you're back before the other guy gets beat, then you're back in. And this game can go for about 10 minutes, I think, at one point. We were dying. It was awful, because beaters aren't generally in that good of shape. But it's a lot of fun. So that's like, basically do mini drills and mini game stuff. And that's how you can make it work. You can also do some really good chaser drills as well.
Yeah.
And seeker snitch stuff, you can always do that with 3 people. Have 1 person be a snitch and 2 people be seekers. And that works, again, all of you guys, and just keep switching around.
Yeah, for chasing you could do like just 1-on-1 and then like winner stays on and you just like rotate the 1 person out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also do like 3-man weave. It's
Yeah.
fairly standard. But yeah. Or you can do like 1v1 plus keeper, kind of like I said, with like if you had low numbers and you did like a full, like just an all-time keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's surprisingly easy to like scale down, which is really nice. Like that definitely helped us like continue to run practices during the summer when we only had like 8 people.
You could do a
typically.
keeper, a beater, and a chaser too.
Yeah.
So that you have 2 defense, and then because you can block with the quaffle, so you'd be blocking the bludger and then trying to shoot past the keeper. Yeah.
You can also do like a piggy in the middle thing where like 2 of them are passing, the person in the middle is running back and forth trying to intercept.
Or tackle.
That too.
Yeah. Put the pressure on. Yeah. No, actually, apparently we're good at coming up with drills. We should really write these down.
Thank you guys.
There are lots of good drills on the internet too, but anyway, I kind of wish I took notes.
In the green?
Is there an actual team in Edmonton?
There is. They're called the Edmonton Rumpins, and which I love. They
Yeah.
have a logo and everything. They beat us to logos.
Yeah, they
and
beat us to
memes.
logo and everything. They didn't
Yeah.
beat us to regular practices though, which is
But
awkward.
yeah, they haven't been practicing very regularly, but they do have a Facebook group. And Evan and Veronique are both fantastic people. And Veronique, I think, is going to be organizing their summer practices. So definitely join their Facebook
Yeah.
group. And if you go to facebook.com/Central Alberta Quidditch, the top link there right now is the Edmonton Rumpins Quidditch team. So click on that, like their page, and tell them that you want to know when practice is. And then
Yeah.
they will have to have practice. And that'll be useful. There we go. Yay.
But we haven't had practice in a while just because we don't have many people. So the more people who want to participate in the Edmonton team, then we can actually have regular practices. So definitely join us. Please.
Yes.
In general with Quidditch, go to Facebook. There's like 17,000 groups. There'll be Canadian Quidditch groups, and then if you don't know what's around your area for resources, throw a question out there. Everyone's really good about responding, giving you tips on how they started their team, stuff like that.
Yeah, the Quidditch community wants to grow, so there's a lot of support.
And she's had her hand up a few times, so yeah.
Are there many teams at younger levels, like high school teams?
It's growing. There aren't any locally yet. We're starting a youth 10 to 14-year-old program in Red Deer, and I'm going to make these guys start high school things too.
We do currently have at least one high school player because we can take people who aren't at university.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not formal, like you'd still be playing with like university people, but we're friendly.
Yeah. So, but that
like
is
people.
a goal would be to get high school leagues started in Alberta, get that spreading, and elementary school as well. There are special rules changes for high school and again for Quidditch stuff. Just
contact.
to again lower the contact, lower the risk, and it makes more people more comfortable with running it for kids. So
I have a question way back there. It's been a while.
How does a snitch hide on open field?
You'd be surprised at the places you could hide. Like we could literally have a snitch under this table right now, and you wouldn't know.
And the snitch isn't limited to like the field that everyone else plays on. They'll be given, like the entire park that you're in, or they have way bigger boundaries so they can do things like climb trees.
No,
Is
they
it good
can't
one?
anymore.
Oh, they can't?
No,
that's sad.
because it turns out that climbing trees is a stupid idea. Because you climb a tree,
You can't get back down.
the only way you can get down is by running into the seekers or by hurting yourself. Those are your two options. So that's the only rules aside from you can't do something that's illegal in your area is you can't climb trees or buildings anymore because of that. But you can ride on a bicycle. You can
Or
get in a
unicycle.
car and
I've seen
drive
unicycle.
away. You can do all sorts of stuff as long as it's within your snitch boundaries. So
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of times too, like I've seen at like World Cup and like big tournaments where they have lots of snitches present, they'll like hide. Like they'll like
Among
have
the
like,
snitches.
like a crowd of snitches, and like the snitch that you're looking for is like in the middle of the crowd.
Yeah.
I think there was one snitch, I think at World Cup, who like started the game with a full head of hair and then like went and shaved his head
during the 10-minute
floor.
secret floor, he shaved his head and changed his shirt. So
like,
we couldn't find him.
Snitches be crazy.
Snitches be crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
we're
fantastic.
down to
And
about 5 minutes.
she had a
so,
question too.
Katie.
Oh, no, I was going to add to the,
Oh, yeah.
to the high school. Like, my sister is in grade 9, and her gym class right now is doing Quidditch.
Yes.
I'm on the team as well. She was very proud to go, like, my sister plays Quidditch. Do you want me to come and help?
See, it's a good thing. It's a good way to meet people. Yeah, it's growing.
So where would you get the official rules for Quidditch?
On the interwebs.
Yeah,
The International Quidditch has a good website, and you can download the PDF of the rulebook for free. I
Yeah.
spend way too much time going through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
iqaquidditch.com. And then one of the links, I think, under About or somewhere up
Yeah.
there is rules. And it's available for free as well as variations for Quidditch and for youth Quidditch.
And they have
There's
a-
all sorts of information on iqaquidditch.com.
Yeah. They also have like referee guides, like
Yeah.
to pass
Yeah,
the
they're
referee
updating
test.
stuff all the time. It's
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah. Right there.
This question is more about fan base. And are there any tips you can give as to how, if we don't have a team in our area and we want to get people excited about it, what kind of things can we do to get the fans in?
Posters work really well, surprisingly, and like chapters and stuff. I had so many people who knew that. And then recreation centers. Get on the internet. Like I set up a Facebook club before I had equipment. So
Yeah.
we existed for a while.
Yeah.
Talk
The other
about
thing you
yourself
can
in the
do
plural.
too is if like you have some people, you can do like public snitch chases.
Yeah.
Like we've done snitch chases just throughout campus when we're bored. We haven't done any recently because they are like really tiring. But like you can get like someone, like you can do it like more play acting where you're not actually like running for real. We didn't, for some reason that never occurred to us. We always just ran for real. But you
They
can do
like
it where
to
it's like it's
run.
more like staged and stuff. So that's a really good way to like draw people's attention. Like you won't be able to like tell them a lot, but it's definitely a good way of like if you have like a small group of people and you want to try and find more people, staging a public snitch chase is a really good
And
idea.
you can definitely use, like we did, general fandom events as your basis, as a jumping off point, then starting with like a really recreational game, and then from there figuring out who really wants to play Quidditch and who is just kind of...
And tying into any events that are happening, like we've done farmers markets, you guys did the Relay for Life
Oh yeah,
recently,
we've done demos
so
at Relay for
anything
Life.
else that's happening in your area, go to it and bring you and your two friends is okay. It's enough. It's to get something started.
Yeah.
You had a question too.
On the IQA website, you'd also be able to find things like liability waivers and stuff like that, right?
I think so. We have some as well. If you message us, we can give you some sample liability stuff.
Luckily for us-
starting up corporations, all of that sort of documentation.
Yeah, since we're through the university, we have like all of the university's liability waivers in place. We just say like what the risks are, and they have like a standard go-to document. So we kind of have a cheat sheet on that, which is nice.
And insurance brokers can become your best friend if you're not one of those university affiliated, so you don't have coverage anywhere else. They're fantastic people. They're very useful. So, yeah. I don't think we have any time left. Oh, no, we have 1 minute left if there's one more question, I think. Are we good? Okay. Well, then. Hassan has a question.
Mine's not actually a question, but just for you, we asked about the rules. Also, if you come over to our table, we do have a copy of like official actually rule book. You can look at it.
Yeah, and you can buy those. I think they're $10 online or something if you want a fancy printed copy, or you can just get the PDF and print it yourself. It's okay.
Works.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. We do have demos at
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Today and tomorrow.
And
Coke
you can
stage.
cancel Quidditch at like minus 25, but it's not that cold out there. So we will see you out there, I hope. And thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Good show. I don't know. Oh yeah.
I feel like we should have had those pictures up.
Oh no. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not looking up. Is he like scrolling that? Yay!
He does fancy things.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
When or where?
Okay. Yeah.
Where? It's between this building, the BMO
Jill's
here,
did a really good
and
job aligning herself with rugby
the Big
folks.
Four. There's
Because
that little
rugby guys
Coke
are like
stage.
kind of an interesting
That's
group of
where we
people, and because Quidditch is a contact sport, like you can kind of draw them from that. Are you in high school, university?
It's in
high school.
Hall D.
So
That
one of the
would be a
biggest
good
things, like
question.
my high school, we tried to start a Quidditch
Yeah, we're
team.
just
We
right
didn't have
over
quite
there.
enough people to like meet
Yeah,
often
we're
enough,
on the
but if you can like
far
try and
wall,
establish like a
past
Harry Potter
all
like fan
fence
club at your
people,
high
and
school,
then
or
there's
even just
us.
like
Yeah.
kind of just like go.
Good question.
No, how would you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know if this works his.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I'm not sure, like, honestly, yeah. 'Cause, like, you can just sort of, like, if you just start playing in, like, a public area, so, like, maybe, like, after school, like, go out onto, like, a field that's not being used for, like, one of the other sports teams and just sort of start playing, and, like, people will start seeing it, and it's, like, it's kind of one of those things where it's, like, you kind of have to start slow. I'm not sure, like, because honestly, like, we got lucky in that we recruited some, like, of the nerdy, sporty people. Like, when you get to university, like, you find a lot more of them.
Yeah. Like I said, it took me to like university to find that niche.
Yeah.
In the small towns, like you're in the small towns, and people so but I think you might find out that some of these people who are extremely all the time are actually not technically terrorists, they're just
Insecure?
exactly. And they might find out that they actually like it. You never know. So if you can guess then encourage that person. Support that person. Well, not even work friends. So it's just you should take it time. So and then so we're gonna definitely more friends. And then after that we're gonna and just okay. We're going to this one like you normally thing. They might not even do you think